What's happening, my brother?
What's going on, my man? How are you?
Yeah, all good, thanks. All good, thanks. I see you got the lights of Johannesburg there behind you.
Yeah. It's a nice little background setting there for an interview, so I thought I'd pop it in.
Lovely. How's Johannesburg been treating you so far?
It's treating me absolutely great, man. You know, like this, the city is amazing, and the hotel's beautiful. And we were out kind of just venturing around yesterday, so we hit up Nelson Mandela Square, kind of went around there, got a bit of food, seen, done a bit of sightseeing, and then got back home, done a bit of training. And today we were at the Origin Centre in the Wits University, kind of
Okay.
looking at the origins of humans, the skulls, and the kind of the tools that they use and stuff like that. So it was very interesting, and yeah, it's been treating me great so far. I'm loving it.
Fantastic, man. Obviously, you're the new kid on the block in the EFC, making your pro debut coming up this weekend.
Mhm.
Interesting bit of background. I thought it would be a nice opportunity for the fans to get to know you. You come with an Irish accent and a Zimbabwean flag. So I'd like to start there. Obviously, I think you said in the press conference you left Zimbabwe when you were about 5 years old or so. Just give us a rundown about that Zimbabwean heritage and your move over to Ireland.
Yeah, so I like obviously I was born in Zimbabwe and stuff like that, but as time went on, you know, there was some troubles there. So my mum and my dad ended up moving to Ireland. So I was living with my nanny and my granddad while I was over there for a little bit while my mum and dad were away, kind of saving a bit of money to get me and my sister over. So I moved there when I was 5 then and kind of been living in Dublin ever since. I came back to Dublin, sorry, I came back to Zim when I was 11, about 12 years ago now. So it's been a long time since I've been back down this side of the planet. So it's good to be back. It's good to be so close to home, and hopefully now for the next fight, I'll be able to go back to Zimbabwe after the fight, and then kind of reconnect with some of my family that were there, like my uncle and stuff was that was back, and my granny's still there. So it's just a great opportunity, just being able to come down here and kind of do what I love, as well as being able to kind of reconnect with my family as well. So it's a great opportunity.
Fantastic, man. And there's obviously in the EFC, especially at the moment, we've got two Zimbabwean champions in Temba Grimbo and Sylvester Chipfumbu.
Mhm.
Guys like Temba Grimbo really starting to take MMA back to Zimbabwe and those kind of things. So I'm sure it'll be cool to get yourself up there and see how it's going. There's also quite a contingent of South Africans or former South Africans living in Ireland as well. I don't know if you know guys like Franz Mlambo and his brother Kenny Makwana.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry, I actually do know
yeah.
Franz and Kenny. Yeah, I'm actually I talk to Kenny quite a bit. Actually, like I see him every now and again at the shows, and they're cool guys. So Chris actually used to train with Franz back in the day. So I'm like I know them guys well. Yeah.
Fantastic, man. I want to ask about MMA. Obviously, as a young lad that's been changed countries quite drastically, you end up in Ireland. How did you get into MMA?
Yeah, so my sister's boyfriend at the time when I was about 12, no, I was about 13, 14. I was still quite young, introduced me to MMA as like a self-defense, and because he used to fight himself. So I was doing a bit of training with him, and I kind of got absorbed by the sport really is anyway to explain it after watching UFC with John Jones and Rashad Evans, and I kind of seen similarities between excuse me, seen similarities between me and myself and John Jones. So I was like, I want to be that guy. I want to do what he does. And fast forward a couple of years later, here I am. Actually, fast forward 10 years later, actually, exactly. Here I am now doing my own thing now and becoming my own fighter. So it's a cool experience. And yeah, I started training MMA when I was 19. So I didn't have any background in any other sports. I didn't in any other combat sports anyway. Obviously played a bit of footy back when I was younger, but that never really attracted me. That never really kind of pulled me in. I always liked something a little bit more like like something that you rely on yourself. You know, it's all about you when you put in the work and stuff like that. Because obviously, like MMA is a team sport as well, but you go in there and you fight yourself, and all the things that lead up to the fight are on you. So like I kind of like putting that kind of little bit of pressure on myself, kind of like taking this fight now with Asi. Now it's a tough fight, so I'm looking forward to getting in there and just showing people what I'm made of. You know, like just people expect me to be nervous about this fight because it's such a big fight, but at the end of the day, like this is just what I do. Like I'm just here to introduce myself to the people in South Africa and the MMA fans in South Africa with a big win this Saturday.
Fantastic, man. I I I want to see how this all came about. I mean, there was quite a splash about you making your pro debut against someone like Azzy, but we'll get into that next. How did
Mhm.
how did the EFC come about? I mean, it's I know Graham and the guys constantly have their ears to the ground, and especially guys with African roots fighting abroad and stuff like that. Well, how did the call happen? Did it come to you, or did they speak to management, or how did it all come about?
Yeah, so I'm managed by Taka Mhandu at the minute. So he's kind of took over the managerial roles, and to let Chris focus more on the training side, so he doesn't have to be looking for fights for people and stuff like that. So Taka kind of took over the managerial side for some of the pro lads, and he got in touch with EFC and kind of just like it was an easy sell for me to get me over there. You know, Zimbabwean heritage, undefeated. Obviously I can talk in front of a camera, I'm comfortable in front of a camera. So it's just one of the things just another thing that kind of tick the box for Graham to get me over. So now I'm here, which is an amazing experience and an amazing opportunity. I'd like to thank Graham and the EFC for that as well. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
You mentioned the two heavy hitters there in your corner, Cathal and Chris Fields. I don't know how many South Africans do know. I'm sure there's the hardcores that will know who they are, but talk us through your corner, the Tough 19 alumni, and what they kind of bring to your game.
Absolutely, yeah. So the main man is Chris Fields. Of course, he's my head coach, my head MMA coach, and he kind of oversees all the training. He oversees the game plan. You know, the guy has fought the highest level. He's been in tough. He's fought in KSW. He's fought nearly everybody that's on the European circuit around the world. So he's been around the block, and he came up with obviously with Conor McGregor back in the day when they're all coming up. So he has that solid foundation of skill, and he knows what it's like to be around the high level shows. And then having Cottle there as well. Cottle Pendred is former UFC fighter, who's 4-2 in the UFC. And then he's an absolute beast, and he knows a lot about sport. Obviously, he's been around it a long time. So I have two very knowledgeable people in my corner, and they're two big guys as well. So they're hard to miss. And one thing that annoys me is they kind of overshadow me because now, especially now cutting weight, I'm very small and walking around. So they're an experienced corner team. They've done it a long time, and I'm just a byproduct of the work that they put in.
Fantastic, man. It was, I was even still caught by surprise. I'm like, geez, those two fellas look familiar. And then it started coming through about who they were. It's nice to get UFC vets and different European vets out here. It's always exciting. And it's a nice opportunity for us as well as you guys to see the country, for us to show what's on offer here in terms of MMA in South Africa. We mentioned the talk about Aziyashi Chitamba, that there was, it was a bit of a theme at the press conference about making your pro debut against someone like Azzy. What do you say to, there's not really critics, funny enough, it's just kind of like a question. What do you say to that? How do you answer that question? How do you justify coming onto the biggest show in Africa and making your debut on the main card against someone like Azzy?
You know what I mean? I feel like this is where I belong, you know, I've always known that this is the path that I was going to take. I've always known that I'm destined for the big show or destined for big opportunities, because things like this just kind of fall into my lap. It was strange enough, you know what I mean? MMA is something that something that I took like a duck to water, you know what I mean? It's just something that comes naturally to me, and all of this, it's normal to me, you know what I mean? And I'm meant to be here, and on Saturday night, on the main card of EFC, the biggest show in Africa, and against one of the biggest names in the promotion and in the division. So this is exactly where it should be, and people are going to take notice that on Saturday when they see me walking out and they see me in the cage. They're going to know this kid's the real deal.
I saw you moving around a little bit for a little bit of EFC cuts in the cage as I was leaving. It seemed to me, what I saw from a reasonably uneducated eye was it looked like you have a pressure kind of style. Is that accurate? And what do you think people can expect to see from you on Saturday night?
Yeah, it is a kind of pressure oriented style as well. I counter strike as well. I don't always I don't always move forward. It depends what kind of opponent I'm fighting. But I like calculated pressure. I like moving forward. I like making people feel my reach, making people feel my size, and without really doing much. I like moving forward and stuff like that. So that's been part of my game. But everything changes depending on the opponent. But I like to go in there and I want to land my punches. I want to come forward and I want to get into it. But I don't want to get hit, and the fact that I have such a reach and height advantage over most people that fight, that usually never happens. So that's something I've been working on over the last, ever since I kind of joined Team KF and started MMA. was managing that distance and obviously like utilizing my height and my length and using it to the full advantage. So yeah, like it's just that's my style. I like moving forward. I like hitting you, and especially now when you see now, because like I'm a heavy hitter, especially with the bantamweight division. So with the 4 ounce gloves, it's gonna be a big shock, I think, for Asi, because I think he's used to fighting people that are a lot smaller than him, and I'm not small by any means.
Yeah, this was the funny thing watching you two guys face off. I think I don't know you so much, but I think as he was taken a bit by surprise about just how tall you are. It was almost like a similar sort of physique, similar sort of body style. Two long stand up fighters. It's very intriguing. It's very intriguing. I want to ask you, you talk about being a heavy hitter. Just run us through your credentials that led you up to here. You've obviously been fighting on the amateur scene in Europe, and just give us an idea of how that's been going.
Yeah, so I'm 6-0 with four knockouts and 4 knockouts / TKOs. So yeah, like my amateur record was 6-0, obviously 4 knockouts, and then I also have two titles, a UK title and an Irish title, and I have a title in Cage Wars as well, the amateur Cage Wars title, which is a highly coveted title in the UK and in Ireland. So like I have high credentials. I have like I can back up the talk that I give, you know, because I've done it in the amateur circuit, and now I'm looking forward to doing the pro circuit as well. And the thing is, with the amateur circuit in the UK and Ireland, yeah, that's more or less semi-pro, like, you know what I mean. So we don't wear shin pads, we just wear the gloves. So like, so people think that, like, the way I look at it, like the way I see Ashley's record, we're similar enough records, because I've been fighting semi-pro more or less. The only thing I haven't been able to do is throw elbows or knee to the head, but I haven't had to use those tools because I'm so long and I never really get into those kind of clinch battles. So like that's one of the things that, like, I want to kind of highlight to people thinking that I'm going in here with a very experienced guy. Like, more on paper, like if you look at my fights, like they've been more or less semi-pro, like they're amateur, but we don't wear shin pads. So this is gonna be a different style of fight for me. The only thing that's going to be different is it's going to be South Africa, and I'm going to be wearing smaller gloves, which is going to be a benefit to me.
Yeah, it's massively exciting, and this is I think Graham tried to say it. He just put it out in the wrong way, and I think you've done a great job of explaining that. It's not. I mean, majority of the amateur circuits often includes shin pads and stuff like that. So you've been on the ground for a long time, is what people need to know.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
not just sliding in here by chance.
Yeah,
you're obviously, I suppose, as is in the same boat. You're one of those guys who make really low weight classes with a big frame, just over 6 foot. What sort of weight cut are we dealing with? Is it a big one, or are you kind of breezing into your weight class?
No, I breeze into this weight class. This has been actually, funny enough, this has been the best weight cut of my life, of my career so far. Like, because like now I'm a professional, so I take it professionally, and this is the weight is falling off me, and like it's not tough on my body at all. Like, now, like, obviously you weight cut, and you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be a bit fatigued, but that's part of the game. That's just how the weight cut goes. But like, I'm not killing myself to get to this level, and I think Asi fought a flyweight as well at one point. So like, I can never make flyweight. You know what I mean? So like, I think I'm gonna have the size advantage there, because like if like I'm 6'1" with a 76-inch reach, now there's not a chance of making flyweight, and if I do, I'd have to chop off a leg or something. But yeah, like the weight cut, it's not too bad, you know what I mean? Like, it's obviously you're hungry, you're a bit dehydrated, but at the end of the day, like, that's part of the job. That's part of the contract that you sign, and that's where you get paid. You get paid to make weight, and you get paid to fight, and that's it.
What are your emotions like? I mean, obviously, I think it's gonna step up quite a bit on fight night. Sadly, no crowds, but I don't know if you know how the EFC scopes out. It goes through from here at the bottom all the way through the top of Africa into people's homes on free-to-air TV, into millions of houses. What's it like being back in Africa and competing in the sport that's kind of guided your life up until this point? What are the emotions like, and what does it feel like to be here competing in Africa?
It feels right. That's the only thing I can say. It just feels right, and I feel like I am home, number one, but as well as in EFC, I feel like I am home. This is my first fight already, and I've already been like shows such hospitality about the guys at the EFC. So like this is just the right fit for me, and this is exactly where I need to be to get to where I want to be. You know, my ultimate goal is to be in the UFC, is to be UFC champion, obviously to be EFC champion as well. But my ultimate goal is to change that EFC title to a UFC title. You know what I mean?
How much have you looked at the division, or you kind of just focusing on as you're out now, and you'll look into who's next afterwards? Have you had a breeze through the bantamweight division and other opponents that strike your interest?
Yeah, like I've seen a couple of other guys. I've seen I think Faziz Jacobs lost his belt there in the last fight, and I think he's going to be looking to get it back. So I think with a big win against Asi, that kind of puts me in the fold, kind of to face him if he's not rematching Sylvester for the belt. So I've been looking at the division. I have been scoping people out. I have been looking. I've been very like I do my research on my opponents. You know, like I'm not breezing in there pretending like I don't know and pretending like I'm like on the hot shit. I know. I've done my research. I see the people in the division, and and I'm aware of their skill level. I'm aware that they're dangerous, but at the same time, I'm dangerous too, and I think I match up very well with the majority of them.
Fantastic. Fantastic, man. I know it's getting late and it's fight week, and that last bit of weight cut is doing, so I don't want to keep you too long. Last one from me. What would your message be to Aziashu and to the people tuning on Saturday night? What would you say to them?
Yeah, my message to Asi is like obviously like it's a pleasure. It's an honor to fight you, man, and thank you very much for the opportunity. But one of us has to lose, and unfortunately, it's not going to be me. But and then to the fans, tune in because you're gonna want to see this. This is going to be absolute fireworks. I'm an entertainer as well as a fighter, so you guys are going to want to tune in and kind of see what all the hype is about, and why the EFC are kind of giving me all this attention, because it's not ill placed. You know what I mean? This is what I do, and I'm very good at it.
Fantastic, Taka. Thank you so much. Welcome to South Africa. Welcome to Joburg.
Thank you very much for having me, man.
Pleasure. Thank you, man. We wish you all the best with the last bit, and we'll see you at the weigh-ins, and good luck and enjoy your time, man.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thanks, man. Cheers, man. Good night.